Let us explore sketching lines with parameters. I am Anil Kumar. Welcome to my YouTube channel and the website Global Math Institute. In this video, we will learn how do we sketch lines using intercepts. We'll work with the equation ax plus by equals to c for possible values of a, b, and c. Here are two questions for you to practice after the end of this video. So let us see what do we have now. Well, here's a question for you. I'm treating this as question number 6. First 5 questions we will done in another video. Sketch line for the given conditions ax minus by equals to c, where a, b, and c are all positive. So you have to sketch a possible line. Then we have question number 7, where the equation is ax minus by equals to c. However, a is less than 0 and b and c are this time positive. Question number 8, ax minus by equals to c, where a is 0 and b and c are greater than 0. Question number 9, ax minus by equals to c, where b is 0 this time. What kind of line will you have when a and c are positive? The last question of the series is ax plus by equals to c, where b is 0 and a and c are greater than 0. So you can actually go through these questions, sketch, and then look into my suggestions. In case you want to learn from me, you can send an email on the address given. Most of my students are doing extremely well. Some are getting highest marks in their class, getting awards and scholarships like Akshat.
After attending university. The winner of this year's Certificate of Achievement Schulich Leader Award is Akshi Kandivani.
Great. Our student Akshat gets highest marks and the most prestigious Schulich Leader Award. You can be there. Join our classes and excel. Let us now look into graphing of these equations. We are working with ax minus by equals to c, where all are positive, right? So once again, the equation is ax minus by equals to c, and all a, b, and c are greater than 0. Now, to sketch this, we need to find x and y intercepts. So let us find x-intercept and y-intercept. So what is x-intercept? X-intercept is where y equals to 0. So in this equation, if I put y equals to 0, I get ax minus 0 equals to c, or ax is c and x is c over a, right? Since all are positive, therefore this will also be positive or greater than 0. It really means that the x-intercept will be somewhere on the positive x-axis. Correct. Now let's look into y-intercept. So for finding the y-intercept, we'll put x equals to 0, right? So for y-intercept, x equals to 0. In this particular equation, x0 means 0 minus by equals to c. Y will be equals to minus c over b. Now since all are positive and we have a negative here, we clearly see that this is going to be negative, less than 0, right? Since y-intercept is less than 0, it will be somewhere on this side of. So the line is mainly going through the quadrant 4, right? So we could draw a line which goes through this quadrant. So that could be a line, a possible line which will meet these conditions. Perfect. So that is what we are trying to sketch from the given condition, which is right there. So I hope you have understood the concept, right? Now, Let's label these x and y intercepts, x-intercept being c over a and the y-intercept being minus c over b, where a is greater than 0, b is also greater than 0, and c is also greater than 0. The equation is ax minus by equals to c. Is that clear to you? That is how we are going to sketch. Perfect. Now let's look into the next question, which is question number 7 in this particular playlist. So now we have ax minus by equals to c, where a is less than 0 and b and c are greater than 0. So we're looking at a, which is less than 0, but b is greater than 0 and c is also greater than 0. The equation is ax minus by equals to c. So what are you going to do? You have to find x and y intercepts. That will tell you how the graph goes, right? So for finding the x-intercept, we'll equate y to 0, right? And to find the y-intercept, we will equate x to 0. Perfect. So let's do that. Substituting y to 0, we get ax equals to c, or a equals to c by x. Now look here. A is less than 0 and c is greater than 0. That means opposite signs. So when you have opposite signs, in that case, the result will be what? It is going to be less than 0. Get the idea, right? So since we have a, which is less than 0, and c, which is greater than 0, right? So they are opposite signs, and therefore it is going to be negative. And that means that, actually, I should have written x equals to c over a. Let me do that correction now. So x equals to c over a. So that really means that the x-intercept is somewhere on the negative half of x-axis, correct? Makes sense? Perfect. Now let's look into the y-intercept. So if x is equal to 0, we get minus by equals to c. And that means y is equals to minus c over b, correct? Now we see c is greater than 0 means positive, and b is also greater than 0. Therefore, c over b will be greater than 0. However, we have a negative sign there, so the whole thing will be less than 0, correct? And that means that the y-intercept will be on this side, and therefore the line will go something like this. Make sense? Very important criteria to understand, right? So let's write down x and y intercepts, which are c over a and minus c over b. Perfect. So these are your x and y intercepts. The line major goes through the triangle you see is being formed in quadrant 3. It does not touch quadrant 1. Do you see that? So the line goes through the 3 quadrants, not through quadrant 1. Perfect. So with that in mind, I'd like you to sketch these lines one by one. Perfect. So I hope you're getting the concept. Now here we have the sketch line for the given condition ax minus by equals to c, where a is 0 and b and c are positive. So now we are given a equals to 0 and we are given b greater than 0. C is also greater than 0. The equation is ax minus by equals to c. Now if a is 0, it means what? Well, if a is 0, then the equation reduces to what? Minus by equals to c, correct? So now we have only equation minus by equals to c, which could be written as y equals to minus c by b, correct? So y equals to minus c by b, and here what do we know? We know both b and c are positive, right? So we know c is greater than 0, b is also greater than 0, so both are greater than 0. Therefore, the quotient will be greater than 0, and we see that y, which is equals to minus c by b, will be less than 0. Makes sense? Now, y equals to minus c by b, how will this line look like? Well, clearly, this is going to be a horizontal line, like somewhere here. Do you see that? That is the kind of line which you are going to get, and definitely the y-intercept is where we are looking into, which will be minus c by b. Makes sense? So that is how the line is going to be. Perfect. So this gives you a horizontal line. which will go through quadrant 3 to 4, right? Do you see that? So that is how the line will be. Perfect. Very important example. Therefore, I've used a highlighter here. Okay. Next one, very similar. But this time, you will see, we have equation which is ax minus by equals to c, but b is equal to 0. And both a and c are positive, okay? So let's write down. We have b equals to 0, and a is greater than 0, means positive. C is also positive. Equation is ax minus by equals to c. Since b equals to 0, we can say ax is equal to c, or x is equal to c over a. Now x is c over a. What kind of line it is? That is first thing. So it is definitely a vertical line. Now which side and which coordinates will it touch? So let's look into that. We have both positive, so that means this is greater than 0, right? So that means the line has to be somewhere on the right side of y-axis. Perfect. And definitely this point, which is the x-intercept, is going to be c by a, right? So that is the equation of the line, which is x equals to c over a. So we have a vertical line with undefined slope, right? So vertical line and undefined slope. Correct? So that is how the line will be. Now let's look into the last question. I'd like you to pause the video, answer this, and then look into my suggestions. So we are given the equation, which this time is ax plus by equals to c, and we are given b equals to 0, correct? So b is equal to 0, and a is greater than 0, c is also greater than 0. All are positive. Now if b is greater than 0, in that case this term will be 0, correct? So we're left with ax equals to c, or x is equal to c by a, correct? So x is c by a, all are positive, right? So therefore this line is also positive. It is very similar to the previous example, a vertical line going through quadrant 3 and 4. Is that clear to you? Perfect. So with that, we have sketched our questions. Now, question for you to practice. We have px minus qy equals to 12, where p and q are greater than 0. How will this line be? And the last question, ax plus by equals to 6, where a is positive but b is negative. In that case, which line could it be, right? So that could be your practice test question. But I hope with this, you have understood how can we sketch the lines when the parameters a, b, c, the values are not given, but we know the range, whether they are positive or negative. This makes sense, right? So that is how we'll be doing it. I hope you find this video interesting and informative. In case you like and subscribe to my channel, that'll be great. And in case you want to learn from me, you can always send an email on the address given. Thanks for your time and all the best.